He didn't threaten anyone. He just pushed a folder across the dinner table and said, "You're the responsible one. Fix it." 12 relatives watched me open it. Flagged transfers. Duplicate payments. My sister's signature on every page. They thought I would do what I always did. Contain it. Absorb it. Protect the family name. What no one at that table realized, not even him, was that weeks earlier, because of a clause he barely read, he had already stepped aside. He thought he was assigning me damage control. He had already given me authority. The dining room was warm from too many bodies and too much catered food. Plates clinked softly. Someone laughed at a story I hadn't heard. My father waited until dessert was served. Then he slid the folder toward me. "It's contained," he said calmly. "We just need you to handle it before it becomes something external." My sister kept her gaze on her plate. No one asked for details. They didn't need to. Everyone understood the choreography. When something complicated happened, I managed it. "You're good with this kind of thing," my aunt added gently. It sounded like a compliment. It wasn't. I flipped through the pages once. Vendor reimbursements routed through the wrong entity. Missing documentation. An internal compliance warning drafted but not filed. My father leaned back. "We don't escalate family matters," he said. "We solve them internally." A few people nodded. The assumption was clear. I would protect my sister. I would protect the company. I would protect him. They didn't realize something procedural had already shifted. There's a quiet role some families assign without formally naming it. The stabilizer. The one who doesn't react emotionally. The one who reads documents fully. The one who can be trusted not to embarrass anyone. For years, that was me. I thought it meant I was respected. Eventually, I realized it meant I was predictable. Predictable people are easy to rely on. They are also easy to load with responsibility. Have you ever noticed how being competent turns into being expected to clean up what others create? If you understand that kind of quiet resilience, you can subscribe. And if you've ever been labeled the responsible one when something goes wrong, you can share that below. Because sometimes responsibility isn't a compliment. It's a transfer. And this time, I wasn't absorbing it. My father built the business. Real estate development. Commercial properties. Long-term leases. He chaired every board meeting and signed every major contract. My mother managed image. Charity events. Public appearances. The polished exterior. My sister managed relationships. She was charismatic, quick, comfortable in visible roles. I managed structure. Corporate filings. Governance updates. Vendor contracts. Compliance deadlines. In meetings, I took notes. I drafted amendments. I summarized legal opinions. I was introduced as our internal counsel. Useful. Supportive. Quiet. When my sister once signed a contract without reading termination penalties, I renegotiated the exit. She was praised for initiative. I was thanked privately. When my father overlooked a regulatory update, I corrected the documentation before penalties escalated. He called me efficient. The hierarchy was simple. He led. She represented. I maintained. They assumed maintenance meant obedience. Maintenance requires access. Access to shareholder agreements. Trust documents. Corporate bylaws. Insurance structures. 2 years earlier, we restructured our holdings. The operating company sat beneath a holding entity. The holding entity was controlled by a family trust. I coordinated the paperwork. Scheduled the legal meetings. Circulated drafts. Collected signatures. My father skimmed summaries between calls. "Just keep it clean," he told me. Clean meant compliant. The trust document outlined trustee authority, successor designation, and conflict of interest clauses. I read every line. Most people assume governance documents are symbolic. They aren't. They execute automatically when conditions are met. That detail would matter later. 3 months before the dinner, our external auditor flagged irregularities tied to an account my sister oversaw. Nothing criminal in scale, but significant enough to create exposure if ignored. Under the amended trust instrument, if a primary trustee faced a conflict of interest involving a direct beneficiary, oversight transferred to the successor trustee for that matter. Conflict of interest was defined broadly. When the flagged transactions were linked to my sister, a direct beneficiary, counsel advised formal recusal. My father resisted the language at first. Then he signed. Digitally. Quietly. Temporary, he called it. Procedural. Authority over trust-related exposure transferred to the successor trustee. To me, no announcement was made. But legally, the oversight structure had already shifted. By the time the folder reached me at dinner, I wasn't being assigned responsibility. I was being asked to act within authority I already held. After dessert, my father stood to speak. Families endure because we handle issues internally, he said. He spoke about legacy, stability, experience. Then he added, we're fortunate to have steady hands who know how to correct mistakes without creating noise. His eyes rested on me. It sounded like affirmation. It was positioning. He raised his glass. If anyone wants to add something. The room waited. I didn't stand. There's one clarification, I said evenly. I referenced the trust amendment. Clause defining conflict. The recusal signed in March. Oversight for this matter currently sits with the acting trustee, I said. A pause. That's me. No accusation. No emotion. Remediation decisions will go through formal review with counsel. Silence spread slowly. My cousin lowered his fork. My aunt stopped mid-sip. No one laughed. My sister blinked. So, what does that mean? It means we follow the structure we put in place, I said. My father kept his expression neutral. Temporary governance language, he replied. Yes, I said. And currently active. Someone whispered, trustee. Phones appeared discreetly under the table. No one challenged the document. Authority hadn't exploded. It had shifted. Later, my father asked me into his study. You could have handled that more discreetly, he said. I handled it accurately, I replied. He studied me carefully. This doesn't change overall leadership, he said. It changes oversight for risk exposure, I answered. The distinction mattered. For the first time, he wasn't instructing. He was negotiating language. The next morning, I confirmed continuation of trustee oversight with counsel. I authorized expanded review. Vendor communication regarding the flagged account was redirected through my office. Board members received a governance update. Credentials were restricted pending audit completion. No spectacle. No announcement. Just documentation. Exposure was quantified. Corrective payments scheduled. Insurance notified. Everything clean. Only this time, I defined what clean required. That night, after the conversation ended, I folded my napkin and placed it beside my plate. My coat was still hanging on the back of my chair. I put it on slowly. My sister avoided my eyes. My father resumed conversation with an uncle about an upcoming project. Nothing dramatic. I stepped outside into the cooler air and closed the door gently behind me. I didn't need the microphone. Authority is often visible. It stands at the head of the table. It gives speeches about legacy. Control is procedural. It sits in clauses. In signatures. In documents people skim. For years, I thought being underestimated meant being overlooked. It didn't. It meant I was allowed to see the structure clearly. When the moment came, I didn't argue. I didn't accuse. I didn't raise my voice. I referenced the document. And the structure responded exactly as it was written to. My father believed he was assigning responsibility when he pushed that folder toward me. In reality, he was acknowledging authority he had already transferred. Control doesn't declare itself. It simply follows the record.